opener from MBK though. That's brave.
Nice.
But fortune favors the brave, James.
It's brave, but it's desperate. As the situation is, only pistols for G2. They've got 2 kills though, and they've got time, and they can make life very difficult now. This is a winnable round for G2 in their current situation, but things can fall away very quickly. I did say watch Guardian and GoTV, but this hasn't been a good game for him so far, and he has missed some shots as we mentioned before. So people are live. Edward's on 15 kills, so let's keep an eye on, well, keep an eye on him if you're in GoTV. For now, it's Flamey alone on the B bomb site. He will require some help. The grenade is there, he spots the bomb, he can call for his teammates. He needs to buy time now, he needs to stay alive, but he goes down immediately.
Yeah, banking that there would be no player on Monster. Full attention towards that short position, not working out. Edward caught on the rotation there, really good forward position there, and again highlighted Guardian. Missed some whiffs, or had some whiffs there in the EQ, in the anti-eco, but this is the round where it counts, and he's just going to run in and Avex will take him down, so not too much to say there for Na'Vi. G2, a much needed round here, but the question really is whether they can find a consistent approach to take rounds, because so far they've looked a little bit lost.
Timeout number 2 coming in from the G2 side. And yeah, that was, once 2 players are lost and it's a 4-on-3, G2 have a reasonable percentage in that situation, and they capitalized on that. So absolutely, there is the man himself, Simple. He is currently sitting on 18 kills with 15 on Edward. So I would say pick between those 2. Although it's interesting that Simple's playing on his own around the toilet, so that's quite a challenge in itself. So I'd say watch Simple, see what his decisions making like when he's only got himself to rely on for GoTV. And there's Monsieur Kenny S with all of 3 kills, but he's got an AWP. He has the sniper rifle, and now it's time for G2 to turn up on the server. Round 11, but he still hasn't made it to the scoreboard just yet. Quite a few players are struggling on both teams actually. Or well, as far as Navi concerned, maybe Edward and Caesar just Simple rather are just doing the job on their own.
Yeah, it's definitely been a strong performance here, and once again Simple knocking G2 down a peg early into a round, and it only gets worse from here on out. A 3rd kill from Simple. He is absolutely loving it right now, but eventually Body will stop him in his tracks. But the damage, the toll, it was heavy. 3 players dead just because Simple was just going for these AWP peaks. Beautifully done by him, that confidence, and that's something that Na'Vi are learning to harness, is not to overly integrate him into the system around the entire team, but allow him that freedom to make these plays. I love him having that freedom. It's so good, it's so simple.
Indeed, they have given him a lot of space towards the A site, and it's a nice change of pace and a nasty surprise for G2 to see Simple wielding the AWP, and it changes the entire approach to how he's going to be peeking and looking for engagements in that area as well. As before, he's around the smoke, trying to slow them down, he's playing close to them, listening to the footsteps, and now it's long range and the AWP is out, and there are suddenly 2 shell-shocked G2 players left. But they're on a 2-man split of the B bomb site, but the bomb will be late in appearance. You see some players try to crouch as Shox is doing so, but there are angles where you are still exposed. Doesn't work out either way, and maybe Body's damage from the Molotov was heard by the CT side. Maybe, just maybe, they know where he is. Sees towards Monster, even if it's Flamey. Surely a late trade will come in, but one is not required. Na'Vi winning almost every duel on a server at the moment.
And again, it's much like you said, you know, a lot of these rounds, we're seeing these challenges towards toilets. Who is the first man to deal with? Who is essentially, you know, that's the guardian of that position? It is simple. That's the first man you got to get through, and it's just always too taxing. The toll is always too heavy to take when you're facing this guy.
He's got 21 kills in 11 rounds.
Yep, it's pretty impressive.
Between him and Edward, it is 36, but in between G2, there are 2 AWPs now. Kenny and Shox changing the approach themselves. We know G2 are not afraid to go for that second AWP, and they've chosen to do so now. This is an all-in play. They've got 2 AWPs and 3 pistols. They really need some opening kills here, but will Na'Vi give them to the French side?
Such an interesting situation to have those 2 ops, isn't it? And the Deagle follow-ups.
I mean, look at Simple now. Simple's playing in CT spawn. They've completely changed the approach once again. The CT side is being hyper active, and G2 have no idea what's going on.
It's really good too. I think they can definitely logically assume, okay, their money is pretty ruined. If they're going to go for a force buy, we don't want to allow our AWP to be just rushed down. Let's play it further back. Guardian can have a piece of the action now with the UAWP that he's now carrying.
I think it's hard not to enjoy CT sides when they're rolling like this and they just keep mixing up the game and they're one step ahead of their opponents. Well, we think they're probably going to try and do this, so let's change things up entirely. And now G2 still desperately looking for a pick. 38 seconds and they have barely seen anything. Apex has got no Kevlar. He can't go through those flames. Guardian getting cheeky, but crunch time will arrive soon.
And here it is. Already one player spotted. They know it's a commitment to the A site. They've fallen all the way back in, deep into the furthest lines of this defense. And G2 will fold. They will be crushed on the offense. As you mentioned, James, Na'Vi really played that perfectly. Fell all the way back, played it passively. They knew what they were up against. They're one step ahead. It's hard for G2, isn't it? It really seems as though they haven't got an idea how to approach overpass against Na'Vi right now, and it does seem like they're trying things perhaps out of their comfort zone. And does this go back to the coin flip, James? When they flipped a coin? Because if they're flipping a coin between two maps, you would assume that they would have, you know, let's say a convincing game plan.
Yeah, but maybe
both maps.
Maybe they simply weren't prepared for Na'Vi to bring this pain to them. And I do wonder, obviously, we don't know if G2 are going to change their strats from one day to the next. Great stuff from Edward. But, I mean, again, we're used to Shocks lurking outside, either in short B in this area on your screen, or outside the monster area, or even further back from there. But it seems that they're trying. I mean, maybe they think, okay, we've been red, let's mix things up and play more loose. So whatever they're trying to do, it's looking like the 12-3 halves of, well, there's still 11-2 for the time being, so it could be even worse than that. But
yeah,
it's a lovely flurry here from Edward.
Oh yeah, and 43 frags between both Edward and Simple now. It seems just cool to tally them both up like that. It's quite impressive performances from them. Confident stuff. G2 looking to respond, however, to try and salvage this first half in whatever way they can. They are going to be getting Shocks into the Suez position. Oh, this boost is absolutely diabolical. Let's see if Simple can get the pick off there. Oh, very close.
That's a great angle. You almost never see that angle being taken. So, again, it seems that Na'Vi have put in hard work as well. And now we see Shocks in his usual position. This is somewhat business as usual. Apex and Body over towards the A site, getting some opening kills while his Body. NBK around the connector area will get second one. And now we see the monster push from C. So he'll spot some legs. That's the last thing he will see. The gun barrel from NBK. Na'Vi, how do you know where the T's are headed with all those frags?
Yeah, it's really confusing, isn't it? Losing a player simultaneously on A and B, it's very hard to respond to. They tried that aggression, and I mean, you kind of have to. I mean, you just have to do it, and it just didn't work out for them. So that's fantastic for G2, able to get those entry frags. The only issue with it, though, is that generally speaking, we have seen this approach from them in where they do, where they do try to outpick Na'Vi, and we can see on the scoreboard exactly what's been happening. Simple and Edward have been shutting that play down. That sort of approach has not found G2 consistency, but they will claim their third round by nature of that, and really nicely done by MBK. Obviously, as you said, he knew that there was a player that was boosting Simple, so he's kind of looking for that through the wooden panel there, so good job to him. But still, 11-3 for Na'Vi.
Simple back on AWP, back to aggressive ways, and he's not going to go for a peek towards the fountain. He is around the connector position, but Body and Kenny are moving pretty quickly, so it's time for him to back off. And indeed, Guardian and Simple are going for a 2 AWP play around the toilet, so that could be a very nasty surprise for G2. But they continue to move back as the smoke is there. Apex and Body, though, will soon be in view. Oh, that would have been a glorious second kill, but he'll get it on the second attempt. That would have been poetry on the first, though. Steve's going for the duel towards the short, but not working out in his favour. Flamey is there, and he might need some backup. Yeah,
that's going to say, after losing 2 men like that at A, Shocks has a perfect response there. You almost just have to go straight into B at that point. They do slow it down, though. They do have the benefit of time. But in doing this, of course, Na'Vi do get the option to start rotating players, start leveraging the fact that they are a man ahead. And the rotation times are pretty quick between A and B on this map. So Simple providing just a ever-threatening presence with that AWP. in the tallest position still. He really has shown no sign of wavering in this position, showing nothing but confidence with his plays from here. Ooh. Shox is getting close though. Looks like Shox is going to try to sell a play into the A-bomb site when his teammates will get onto B.
I don't know if it's working or if Edward and Flamey are just positioning for the retake in the meantime, because they've moved back towards the graffiti area with a crossfire, and now they'll hear the running. They are flashed off. I don't know if NBK saw them. Doesn't seem like he did, so he's going to be in for a nasty double peek in this position. Not sure what Edward's doing, but Flamey is there to trade. 3 versus 1 now, as Kenny the Planter tries to clutch it for his team for a desperate 4th round. He sees a torso, but he can't quite get the kill, and Simple is there. Who other than Simple? Who better than Simple? 24 kills in 1/2 for him. Outstanding stuff.
The interesting thing about this round as well for me is that, again, losing 2 players instantly towards A and Shox getting that frag, I think Shox can take the risk to just run into the bomb side there. He opted to play it slowly, and he wanted to try to, obviously, you know, position himself at A, try to get some kills, try to delay rotation towards B. But his teammates, it seemed as though as soon as he died, like they were already rotating to help him. So it looked like that wasn't the... It looks like to me that they weren't on the same page. Because then like, oh, now he's died. We're going to go back towards B now, and because Navi had 4 players left, they can very easily just spread their players. So it's yeah, quite interesting. To me, G2 have not seemed on the same page so far this overpass.
I just want to say that the double AWP setup around toilets was such a great bait, because if they're expecting 1T to come with a trade fragger, then that trade fragger will think, okay, he's taken the shot, now he can't shoot for X amount of time, so I can peek and take him down, but Guardian is there for the insta second frag. Missed the shot, but that's not really the point. The idea of the setup is really awesome from Navi. 12-3. And now it's time for G2, who are not afraid to get aggressive, but maybe they have more respect for their opponent. They're playing inside the sights. For Kevlar's body with the high explosive and the defuse kit. Might be a slow round from Navi.
Absolutely, and one thing last major as well, Navi were very good in the early stages before the playoffs. So we're seeing it's pretty good strength here from them so far. Although they will lose Simple immediately, and he was the man that did get that 4K initially in the last pistol round, or 3K that is.
Apex had a nice boost on the B-bomb site to pick him off over the walls. Navi may be rethinking their stratego. Maybe expecting a CT push based on that, because we see Flamey going back towards T spawn, so it seems they just want to see if there are any opportunities to be had around the back. And it was Simple. He opened the connector door, but the angle from Apex was unexpected. So indeed, maybe everything has changed for Navi. I mean, they can't run around forever. There are 40 seconds remaining. Seized is making a play towards the site on his own, maybe trying to show the bomb. Risky stuff, but now he'll back off towards B.
Yeah, I think you were right there with showing the bomb. But it looks like it will all kick off here towards the B-bomb site. And NBK is still sitting pretty there towards this water area. His teammate's doing some good damage. And NBK will easily discard Edward. The plant just desperately trying to come in, and it will. The knife is denied, but...
The blades were out, man. Backstreet surgery was ready. But it wasn't B. There was a high-risk play, though. Sees just kind of poking and prodding towards the site, because if he gets taken down, then there's no choice but for the T's to rotate and try to barrel into the site with very little time on the clock.
Yeah, I kind of don't like it, because it is very just, if it goes wrong, it's just so horribly terrible.
It's a big gamble. It's a big gamble.
Yeah.
There was a guy from the UK who sold everything he had, went to Vegas and put it on black, and doubled his money. That's essentially what was happening there. He's putting the house on black. Always bet on black, FYI. 4 smoke grenades for the Navi side on this pistol round, so they've got straps, man. They are ready. Normally when you see smoke grenades lined up with that radio pole, if you went to the tip, it would land in the middle of the site and just obscure and make it easier to plant the bomb. And there is one landing in that vicinity. Ooh, they could play the short play on short, quite literally, but it's going to fail in dramatic fashion. Shoxy spots the leg. Oh, that tap! Just the one tap, that!
On bullet, that's all you need. Simple can just sit here for a while if he wants to.
He can do it. He can. Well,
he can do whatever he wants.
He can, but ultimately he will die. He'll be punished, and he'll be cast away from the B bomb site. He'll be launched. He'll be jettisoned into the sun. He'll be put in a trash compactor and recycled for perhaps a bottle or a jacket or something else. I don't know, pair of shoes.
A jacket. Interesting.
Yeah, I had a Timberland jacket, right, which made me look like a drug dealer because it was a big puffy one, and it was made from recycled bottles. I didn't even know that was possible, but there we go. The wonders of recycling. 12-5 in favour of Na'Vi. Looking strong, but G2 on the bye now.
Well, 12-5 indeed is the score, and we'll see whether or not G2 can continue success, or if success is to be short-lived. And the AKs are definitely scary, a scary prospect when all you have is some FAMASs and MP9 and only 2 M4s. And Guardian will be leading the way. I wonder if anything was spotted, anything was heard, anything was gleaned just yet. They are just going to walk all the way. I love this from Na'Vi. Will G2 be ready for this quick play into the A site?
Garden stroll gets a bit violent. Apex holding down a long area, but there are no Ts there for the time being. They are all at the front of the site, and there are smokes all over the place. Kenny's spotted. I think he got a headshot through the wall, left on 5 HP. Guardian going for the spray, and the hose will prove true. They've got 1 kill. It's a 4-on-4. There's a flank coming in from body. There's a minute on the clock for Na'Vi. They don't have to commit just yet, as much as the parental pressure might be there.
Yeah, and it's great as well. This is a situation where the mid-round calling is really important, and fast responses, everyone getting on board with the same plan. However, G2 are just peeking out, getting these great engagements, and just winning them confidently. Rather simple going down to the likes of Apex now provides a 4 versus 1 for Guardian here. Nothing to be done. Another round for G2, and an amazing round to win, considering that, again, they had an MP9, they had a couple of FAMASs in there, they can upgrade, they can pick up 2 AKs. So they made a lot of value out of that round.
You do start, it's still early days in this half, but you do start to wonder if both teams are going to have equal success on the CT side and just have dominant performances. Maybe G2 will start to catch up on the kills and rack up those frags and put Na'Vi on the meat hooks. We will see. This round looks good for meat hooks because Na'Vi are only bringing pistols into this round. No grenades, not a single flashbang, nothing much to create space, perhaps, or take space.
And definitely, I think this, as you mentioned here, it's the CT side is going to be way easier for G2 to play because, like, okay, we have our setups, we know how that works. We can read the economy of our opponents and understand, generally speaking, what to expect and play around that positionally. It's a simpler dynamic, and you can just let the skill do the talking. There's not as much mid-round calling that's as necessary, not as much communication in that sense to change a plan dramatically. So everything should be smoother for sure. And the question really is whether Na'Vi have their strategies up together on this map, and with the likes of Simple, I mean, it really just takes that one round, doesn't it, when he picks up the AWP to make things all go wrong for G2, though.
Not a single point of damage done by Na'Vi so far in this round. Seas has gone to collect the bomb by the balloons. Some trivia, while we have some time. You can actually stand on those balloons. Okay, never mind that, because Flamey has got some openings towards the B bomb site, but NBK is still here around the monster position. He will hear these players moving forward, but the bomb is so far away. So what do? It seems like Seas is going to try and make a play towards A, with Na'Vi baiting towards B. But Apex is rotating back towards the A site, but NBK is being taken down, so surely they've got to go towards B. It's going to be an open A bomb site. Edwards on the rotation towards A already. They're selling the fake with only pistols. Flaming picked off. How long will it take G2 to realize? It's almost like Very Games versus Complexity at DreamHack.
And Seas will get that bomb planted here. Now the CTs are generally out of position. They can get some shots off, but you can see that angle is exposed by the truck. Edward knocking Kenny S down and leaving it up to Apex, the man himself, with the AK-47. Doesn't have a kit at the moment, needs to be quick about this one as he looks for his opponents. And this is such a hard position to play off of. Gets the first frag here, but he has to go for the commit, surely. I mean, he's in such an unwinnable spot, but does he have time to do this? It's going to take quite a while to get the defuse in here. It's going to be pretty tight. Apex looks like he has time. Oh my god, it's so difficult in those spots to make it work, but he made it look confident.
Crisis averted. I suddenly had visions of Complexity versus Very Games when there's a massive fight on the B bomb site. The bomb rotates to A. They realize too long, and then it's too late once they get there, but obviously it's overpass, so the rotation is pretty quick, and that's a great clutch by Apex. Baited the Na'Vi guys, and it's a tactical timeout for Na'Vi.
It's got to feel bad to lose that one. When you get that plant, you got two players, a two versus one, and he's got no kit. You can essentially just play for massive delays. So hard for the CT to do anything there. Even if he gets the first kill, again, you kind of have to face into the container to actually defuse it. So it's really easy for the T to actually peek, see if you're defusing or not, and then not commit to the fight. You can just keep doing that over and over again. So it really demands the CT to be able to have incredible reaction time and incredible precision, and also, of course, just very cool and calm, collected nature under pressure.
What Na'Vi can take away from that situation, though, is they did colossal and surprising damage to the C2 economy. They've still got a 5-round lead, so it only creates more potential opportunities for their team, win or lose that round. They have forced G2 to spend a lot of their cash. We saw what that meant with Cloud9 versus North in the previous match, and maybe the same will be true in this one. Edward looking towards the balloon area that we mentioned very briefly earlier on. Flamey keeping angles towards long, and he better do that because there are two Frenchmen in that position. Maybe a flank will be fast, especially with NBK coming into action.
Yeah, it's a great position to play from, but he's in trouble now. There's two players here coming for him. A quick peek there from Guardian will deal with him. It's very important to just quickly and swiftly get rid of NBK in that forward position, but Apex now causing problems from a forward position of his own, peeking out of long, getting the pick off and then falling all the way back. And that's great for G2, claiming the man advantage once again, and now leaving things to a 3 versus 4 for Na'Vi to play off of. They've got 45 seconds to go, and they just threw the bomb back here towards Simple, so it looks like they're going to go towards A. Can they make it happen, though? Apex still lurking.
Two players in the long area, and the point is the bomb seems to be headed there as well. Guardian taken down, and now Simple's got a job to do. The bomb could have been spotted on the radar, definitely has been this time, and there goes the bomb. 20 seconds for C's, 1 versus 4, miles away from the bomb. The round is surely won by G2, definitely now that Kenny delivers the last kill on the A bomb site. Crisis averted for G2, 4 players surviving, a plus for their money after the losses in the one prior. Na'Vi can still buy. Guardian is a bit short, but for the most part, they got the guns. And they got the 4-round lead, but what they don't got, Stan, is a single round in this half.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? I mean, again, you can see, just imagine if G2 had a better plan on their T side. Obviously, Na'Vi were really good at resetting them and so on, and reducing their buy rounds, but still, you can see the comfort that they have, and the, when they're able to play the CT side, the skill that they have to bring into play. And they have the experience as well, not to be too deterred or lose any confidence should they have a bad start. It is a game of Counter-Strike after all, and can always make a comeback. And Na'Vi actually mixing things up here, going towards the sewers, going for a... Perhaps they play into the B bomb site, but first they want to get rid of some of these CT grenades, perhaps.
Yeah, there are a lot of grenades, but once the Na'Vi boys start to move in, definitely be guns out for G2. And you never know when someone's going to burst around the corner of short, so there's the flashbang from the side. They will only spot one player, so that could be a lurker, but do they hear some footsteps? More countermeasures coming in from the CTs, and it seems there's a rotation. It's a stronghold in the B bomb site at the moment. Kenny seems to be making his way there as well. As Apex has moved towards the toilets, he's got the info for his team to allow 4 players to be there for this defense, but still the finish can come in from Na'Vi. And indeed, they're rotating. They realize that all the CTs are there. Apex starting to move back, buying time. Doesn't need to get picked off. 29 seconds, 2 pistols, and the AK from Flamey. Spotted though through the smoke is Flamey. He will eventually get the kill, and now C's can pick up one more rifle. 20 seconds, NBK, his turn to hold things down there. Buying time, 2-man spray down, make it 1. I think Kenny got the last kill there onto Seized. G2 prevail. So there was potential there for Na'Vi. It came and went.
Yeah, G2 doing a really good job here so far, just holding the line. And it's very interesting the way it differs, to the dominance of Na'Vi's first half, where it was really the individual star power, let's say, between Simple and Edward, who were able to just create, from the get-go, disadvantageous situations for G2 repeatedly. Here is a G2 that are, very evenly able to defend. No matter what Navi are throwing at them, I think Navi are throwing a more diverse range of rounds at G2, but G2 look more than confident. And they mix their setups up quite a lot here as well.
Let's bear in mind there were all of 3 rounds won by the T side in the first half. 0 right now for Navi. G2 catching up very, very quickly. So as dominant as the first half looked, it seems that it may be a mirror in the second. So what do we take from that? Leave you to discuss. 3-2 setup for G2, 3 of which are on the A site. There's that very important smoke around a toilet area. Never know if a CT's behind it, and indeed one is. Kenny with a simply rude peek into C's, walking with his scope. C's may not have known what hit him before, it was all too late. Simple in the same position, and he's carrying the bomb. If he gets punctured as well, they're a big problem for Navi.
Yeah, they're soon forced into action. They've got these CT players all around them. At the moment, Apex just lurking around toilets, and he can cause so much damage. You can see Navi a bit paranoid of this with these forward smokes, and Shox is going to join Apex as well now as the push comes into the site. They are going to rely on Kenny to deal with the players from long. Able to take down one. There's no where that came from though, but for Kenny, it is simply too easy, and that is a quick trio there for him. In fact, 4 in total in that round, and he is providing quite the answer to the AWPing that Simple was bringing on the first half. And that now brings G2 up to 10, and Navi still on 12, and 12 they've been on for quite some time.
Yeah, and C's in 22 rounds has got 4 kills. So he and Body are not having very good games at the moment. If one of those 2 players turns up, maybe that's the thing that takes their team over the line. Time will tell. Smiths with the bro fist, enjoying the back seat there. C's lurking towards the B bomb site once again. And then there are 4 players around the upper area towards A. Kenny is lurking. Kenny is ever dangerous. Apex almost shoulder peeking towards long. Spotted some players and he'll move back. Just some information, but how will G2 respond? They're not doing much. Apart from A, they're moving back. They've still got 3 players towards the B bomb site, so they're not too concerned at the moment. Minute 15 on the clock, and now NBK will start to head towards A.
A lot of passive setups here from G2 in recent rounds, and it's been working out quite the treat for them. It's making these small plays around these defensive positions. We can see Apex now actually getting the confidence to go forwards here on A long. On an investigation. This investigation, it's not going to be too successful, except he will find some information for the team, but it's a big bait. It was all a ruse.
Yeah, it is.
Straight into Kenny S's scope. Doesn't feel too good there for Navi, and into B, they are forced to go.
Yeah, the pilgrimage of T players into the B bomb site so far, it's successful. But will they reach the heavens? Shox is in the water area, but it's NBK to save his teammate for a brief second. Can they mount some kind of defense there? Indeed they can, but the trades will continue in favor of Navi. 2 versus 1 now. Apex on the high ground, looking around the smoke, and now the smoke has gone. Simple, close. Oh, it's so close! But the bullet will go the way of Apex. 13-10. Finally, Navi get their first round on the board. But how many can they get? It's been a very hard-fought round for the team. Simple's got 2 kills in this half. Seized hasn't got any. Edward, 2 kills. Guardian, 3. Flamey leading the charge with 6 kills for his team on the T half. So again, similar struggles to the G2 team, who are back on the full buy, and they've still got more money in the bank. The CT side. Ooh, that's a bad miss.
Yeah, and I'd never like to see that one. Shouldn't be too consequential though for the Navi side. Kenny S is actually on long at the moment with the AWP, as we can see here, just looking over the sign towards that boulder, which is oh so far away, but of course he is scoped in nice and tight. However, the flash will force him to fall back. That's a great flash there from Navi. Crossing their T's, dotting their I's, being diligent with the use of their utility, and such is the, I suppose, the frustration with playing this side of the map as the T side. It feels as though you don't even have enough utility to make all your bases safe. Well, can he just get a flick off here to take down a player before the Navi push can come in? That's the question. Another flash that works quite the treat there for Navi, and they get ever closer to that A-bomb site.
seized, picked off, Shocks delivering in the face, but the rotation is coming here. It's a full rotation from the CT side, and they've got the delay tactics there, the Molotovs, and Navi almost getting barbecued, feel like they are forced, they're compelled to move forward. Bodies flying in the air, Apex getting traded, Navi in the red for the most part. Simple may be down to him. It's a 2 versus 4. 30 seconds to find these kills, but the bomb is in absolute no man's land. It's in Sniper Alley. And it seems that they're going to back off the Navi side, or what remains of them. They don't have much money in the bank, and it seems that they feel this is not a salvageable situation, or not worth the risk. So they will get the hell out of there, and it will be 11 rounds for G2.
I'm not sure which player it was from Navi that was in the Suez position, but I think with all the information that G2ES got, I think he must have seen like at least 2 or 3 players sort of grenades flying over. He knew that a big bulk of the team for Navi was towards that A-long area, and so in them getting the frag towards Suez, they know that the committed play has to come to A, because there's no double back potential. It's too risky. There's not enough time at that point with that player lost for the T side. So it's a very smart full rotation from G2. I mean, they did leave one player in jungle, but the rotation from that position is still very quick. So G2 read that perfectly. And what a CT side they're having.
Navi with the AWP, the AK, and a bunch of pistols. We saw that desperate round from G2 with 2 AWPs where they tried to get some picks and weren't able to for the longest time. Will Navi fear, will they be subject to a similar fate? Lots of players around that connects area. Now they're going to leave Guardian alone. Is he going forwards? Is he going backwards? He'll take the bomb with him, and there's some rotation towards the B area. And the B area is where there are 3 players. Both CT sides have put that extra man towards the B bomb sites. So we'll see how it pays off for G2 in this round. The smoke is soon to disappear, and Navi are collecting themselves around that monster position, and now moving into short B as well. So the split potential is there, but then so are 3 Frenchmen, very proficient in le headshots.
Guardian, there you go. Entry frag for him. What can his team build off of this with, though? Because the rotation's coming in quick. Nicely done by Flame. He finds himself an MBK that's quite unawares as to what's happening there from the monster position. Shocks, though, forced out of position by the Flames. And we've got players flying all over the place now as G2ES tries to respond, but he is alone. And he is desperately weak.
Did Guardian just wallbang him?
No idea.
I'm not sure if he did, but I saw Guardian going for some dirty angles through the wall. And G2ES will ultimately be picked off by Seized. So that's another round in the bag for Navi. These desperate T rounds for both sides. We have a tactical timeout for G2. A third tactical timeout. They have 1 remaining, as the glorious overlay also describes. There's money for the buy for the G2 side, but Navi are 1 shy of match points.
Yeah, this starts to get really weird. You know, with teams trading rounds like this, it does put G2 in it starts to put them in a bit of a weird position, considering that on the first half, of course, G2 were only able to scrounge 3 rounds together. But from this position, Navi do look like they could very well be just closing the match out. They need 2 rounds. G2, you know, they've run out of money with this buy. So this round basically has to work. Otherwise, you know, Navi going to be on 15 rounds. G2 will be left with no economy. So this round has to work. There is no margin for error for G2 at this point.
4 AWPs on overpass. You don't see that every day. And I'm quite curious on how this is going to work on the T side. We've seen that both CT teams haven't really given up much when the Ts have had 2 AWPs. Obviously, they don't know that, but we've seen success is a struggle. 2 plays on long. If Guardian goes for a peek, surely he is going to get picked. It's a great Molotov towards the tree position. Kenny forced, but he will stand his ground. And Guardian, there he goes, taken out. But Simple might be a nasty surprise if he can get into a good position. But for now, he's outside Monster. Nobody peeking for him. I do wonder if he's willing to simply walk through Monster, scoped in with the AWP. Time will tell. I mean, there was a time where Simple on the CT side of Overpass would just run through Monster with perfect timing, time and time and time again. But those days have passed.
feel like only Kenny S can hit that shot by the boulder. That was just disgusting, to be honest. And it's interesting too, because I wonder if Navi read how G2 will play a 4 versus 4. I wonder if they've done that level of research into G2's CT rotations. Oh, there's a quick spot there. A lot of silence broken by contact between Seized and Shocks towards Shorts. Seized lucky to be alive there, down to 16 health. MBK starts to feel the heat quite literally, as we see Molotovs tossed about by Na'Vi. 20 seconds, it has to be B, and there's the first entry. Flamey onto body, but is that where it stops, or is that just the beginning here? Because Na'Vi, they got 15 seconds, they have to go in. They've got to plant.
They're really dragging these seconds out, and Flamey, oh my god, that was so close, but it seems he may be successful, or perhaps he won't. They have to plant immediately, but they don't have possession of the bomb. What a hero play from NBK. His team can run away now and maybe get a kill after the fact. Simple, he needs to hide because they might peek him, but no, they won't. Tight stuff for both teams, but what a hero play from NBK. He knows what he just did. You saw that sigh of relief from him. 14-12, they're still in the game, and Navi are not on match point. 4 AWPs continued.
It's actually crazy because it is the double AWPs that really made that so awkward, isn't it? I mean, it's so hard to move them in. You're in a spot where someone has to take initiative. It's just like, well, you don't want the AWPs to just run, and they've got to be scoped up. It just doesn't really work out very well for your team to try to do that. So, very awkward, and the lifeline here bought for G2, but for how long? Will it go on?
Again, the default 3 CTs in B for both teams on their CT sides, respectively. Ooh, Apex just took one in the face. He just took one in the face, man. He's got 14 HP, but it's a G2 to get the first kill. Seized will respond, but he's got to be really careful because he has traces on his gun, and that silenced weapon does not... It wasn't a silencer, but what am I talking about? It sounded like it from the bullets, but because it was from his perspective, so excuse me, both have tracers. Both have tracers every 3rd bullet. It's the silence M4 that has no tracers. Hello. The sound cue confused me, but it's fine. Everything is fine. 14-12, the double AWPs continue. I think it's really awkward on the T side, double AWPs.
Oh, yeah.
In almost every scenario. I mean, we saw the difficulty from Immortals recently as well. And now we see Na'Vi Seized responding with the sniper rifle. Simple on second one. 40 seconds in this 3 versus 4 now.
Oh dear. That tells them everything they need to know. They know 100% it's going to be A now, but there is just enough time here to get the bomb planted. Toss of the bomb over towards Edward. Simple can just hold positions, try to cover everything essentially at this point, but he can't get to position in time. Sort of misread the timings there, and Kenny S was way too far up for Simple to account for. And now Edward with 22 health against 3 players. That is not an easy ask. And he's got to be careful with the sound cues here, and he's going to be running straight to his demise. You can see in the top right there, MBK very elated with that one. G2, they know that every round here is so difficult.
I think he was going for a hero play, a flank.
Oh no, absolutely, but
I thought he was saving it first. I thought he was just running away. It's like, man, just no. But there we go.
The crazy thing is the double AWPs. It is. I'm sure they'll mention this on the analyst deck. If G2 are to actually win this game, we've seen quite a few of these rounds, you know, as mentioned, sort of just become awkward, a bit too awkward and uncomfortable for Navi, just by nature of the double AWPs. You get into a spot where, you know, okay, we've managed to open up the round, but actually now we need to move somewhere. And it's like, this is kind of hard.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of double AWPs on T side almost ever. Navi's tactical timeout now. Roughly 3k for most players, but Simple's got $7,600, and they're still around the head. Their loss bonus isn't spectacular, but they could take a punt with a rifle, and indeed he will do exactly that. AK, he's got himself some reasonable grenades as well, some Tech 9s on some of the other players. P250 for Guardian. He's got 4k in the hole, so all good in the hood. Simple will buy down to 1,700, so we'll see if this play will work out for Navi. If Simple can get the entrances. He's behind Flamey at the moment, so Flamey is the shield, and Simple is the trade.
Looks like an explosive one is in store from Na'Vi onto that B bomb site. And indeed, a bunch of Molotovs tossed over the top, soaring through the air, carpeting the bomb site in flames. It's an inferno here, but it will be the CTs with the hail of bullets here from these M4s rattling off to just annihilate every single player from Na'Vi. 14-14, G2 have tied it up. They are so close to at the very least securing overtime. And if you consider that first half, it was so desperate. So depressing, I imagine, as well for some of the G2 players that to now put themselves in this position.
The problem is, yeah, it is great, and the problem for Na'Vi is that yes, they're having similar CT sides in terms of score and things like that, but it's G2 with most of the momentum. Now it's that on the second half, it's them who are on the comeback and now have even the score. So it's Na'Vi who may be feeling the pressure slightly more than the Frenchmen. Na'Vi with a reasonable number of nades, but not perfect by any means. Not a single Molotov on the T side. So that makes it harder to execute towards B. We saw previous rounds where they would throw Molotovs around the sewer area where you peek short, and you can double peek from that position. Shocks with an opening kill onto Guardian. Don't know how that wasn't a headshot, but he gets the kill either way.
Importantly, he gets the hell out of dodge. He's managed to escape, and look at the run there from Edward all the way up, and this might be the perfect play. Kenny-S goes for the shoulder peek. Very smart from Kenny-S there. Oh, and we had the pop flash, but the bait. Flamey's there to cover. Beautiful stuff there as a counterplay from Na'Vi, and that will equalize things as far as the men are concerned.
Man, love it when a bait comes together like that. You see a nice abandoned cake, you throw your face in there, and it's full of maggots. 14 apiece, and now we have 3 on the A site from G2. They have a read of the situation, and their read is not incorrect. NBK, the timing is unreal, and he may be stuck between a rock and a hard place. Simple, slowly but surely, trying to get a pick there, not quite working out for him. And now it's a big fight, 3-on-3. This is a huge round for both teams. Shocks holding his angle, correct, missed him completely. He's only got 11 HP, and his teammate will come to the rescue, leaving C's alone. He's got 15 seconds. The entire CT team are here. What remains of them? We've got the initial angle, we've got the trade frags. Perfect for G2, match point G2.
Things getting very scary now for Na'Vi. They're doing so well, everything looks so amazing. I mean, in the first half, we're like, oh, it's been like 13 rounds and there's 46 frags between, Edward and Simple. And now it's, come all the way to this on the CT side, due to finding all that comfort. And again, we look towards those double up rounds where Na'Vi, they created good chances, but then they struggled. They had awkward situations to deal with. Double up for G2, though, on the CT side has been perfect. Picture perfect. A few pistols here for Na'Vi. This is it. They have to make this one work. G2 are so close now. One more round for them, and they've done it. What a boost this would be to them to come back from that very dreadful start.
Seized has possession of short B, and that may give Na'Vi the confidence to head in that direction. But they don't have... Ooh, this is interesting. G2, maybe with a read. Apex is moving towards long to join Shocks, but NBK is getting a kill through the smoke onto Flamey, so not much they can read from that. But now the rotation is coming back. Na'Vi trying to force their way into the site, but it's failing at every single point. All the doors are closed. Their tickets are invalid. They won't get a single kill. G2, 16-14. What a massive comeback. A mental test, an arduous task. A match of endurance, but they did it. They took it over the line.
And I mean, it's great because in some respect as well, it's going to lessen some of the criticism of the coin flip situation at this, because that is kind of insane. They go for the coin flip between the two maps, then they're getting absolutely annihilated, and that's something that will very much raise many questions, as it already was on the desk. But as you said, they really showed their temerity here, the level of composure they can have when their backs are against the wall, and when they hit that CT side, man, they've done it so many times before. You can really find a groove and in a level of comfort. And again, Na'Vi, they're going to look to some of those strategical choices and think, was that the right call?
Yeah, they may feel like 12-3 half, unable to meet those measly 3 T rounds of their opponents, with only 2 for themselves. 14-16, a tough loss. Simple up there with 30 kills. Most of which were in the first half. I think that it's fair to say the same for all his teams. Seized ended up with 6 kills, full stop. He had 6 kills the entire time.